Okay, so on today's podcast, we have Lanny from the Paddle Shack down in a beautiful part of the country. It's South Devon, isn't it? I'm right in that.
Yeah, so South Devon, Dartmouth, it's a beautiful part of the country. We've got stunning the southwest coast, plus we've got the River Dart as well, which is both offer lovely spots to go and explore. Yeah,
I was lucky enough to come and see you guys. I think it was maybe early summer, something like maybe May time, and just see that location you're in. And we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But it is a really fantastic location. So just to introduce you, so Lanny and her husband Sam started the Paddle Shack in the summer of 2017. Prior to this, Lanny was working as a marine biologist and an environmental educator and a powerboat skipper. And Sam was working as a surf instructor and studied marine sports science and worked as an outdoor first aid trainer. There's a lot of skills in there. They both love the water. They're both really passionate people. I know that from meeting them both. And they just said there's no better way to explore it than paddleboarding. And the Paddle Shack was born. So as Lanny's just told us, they're based out of Dartmouth, Devon in the UK. They specialize in paddleboard lessons, trips and tours. In their location, they've got the River Dart and the South Coast. So there is absolutely loads of amazing places to see. They became an ASI accredited sub-school in 2020 and have an excellent team there to get you out on the water and get you paddling. So a really cool location. So going to go back to the beginning now. So prior to paddleboarding and things like that, you were working as a marine biologist and an environmental educator. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that. That sounds really interesting.
So yeah, I studied marine biology and coastal ecology at Plymouth University, and kind of from there I was really lucky to work as resident marine biologist at a small kind of grassroots business called Great Escapes, which was set up by BBC documentarist Monty Halls, and that was down here. And so I was really lucky to be involved with that, and we ran dive expeditions, seal surveys. I skippered for them, so we would go out, take groups out, educate them into the marine environment, and also do a load of survey work as well with the kind of the Marine Conservation Zone Society, and so it was just a fab opportunity to be able to also travel the country a bit and educate people all around the southwest coast, really, into our marine environment. And then I went on from that to work as an environmental education officer for the Torbay Coast and Countryside Trust. So that entailed taking education of schools groups mainly. So we'd have large groups of school children coming in, and we would do educational like shore walks with them. We would do workshops at their schools and assemblies and all sorts. So it was a lot of public engagement and education, basically. And yeah, I mean, during this period I got to just really love being I've always loved the sea, hence why I did marine biology, but realized that paddleboarding was such a great way to explore it. I don't know if you'll go on to this, but it was actually because I was surveying a seal colony, and I was skippering this boat, and I had 2 twin engines on the back, and obviously none of these seals were behaving naturally. So I decided to go out again on my paddleboard, and it was amazing because the seals were dancing underneath me and, just acting naturally. And I thought, this is such a great low impact way of traversing the water and getting people to go that little bit further, or just experience it like I can. And I thought that's kind of why I set up the Paddle Shack. I was like, this is a great way of people getting on the water. And yeah, that was where the plan came from.
And so, obviously there were a load of transferable skills there that you had, and you just sort of mentioned that using paddleboards to explore the environment in a kind of a with very low impact. We're not kind of, there's no engines and things like that, and you do get a really good perspective, don't you, when you stood up on a board. And I've had some lovely paddles where I've seen dolphins and seals, and it really is quite amazing. So I suppose, yeah, there was some transferable skills there. So with the paddle shack then, so was Sam on board from day one, or did you kind of get together and then decide that you were going to kind of do this? Or
so it was our plan together. So we kind of came up with the name, we came up with the brand, and the kind of worked on the initial idea. Sam was, so after working as a surf instructor, he came down here and actually became a boat builder. So he was building boats at the time, and this was, yes, I mean, he had a whole other life of being a nurse before this, but anyway, yeah, he came down, and it was kind of at that point he had to continue doing the work as I built the paddle shack from day one. And it was probably those 2 years that I was running it myself, but it was me, 4 or 5 paddle boards in the back of a Ford KA and walking up to beaches and taking people out. So it started really organically, and then we've built obviously over the last 5-6 years, and yeah, now we have a great team. Sam's now, so we've run it together now, so Sam's on board, mind the pun, and we so we run it throughout the summer, just together, and then we've got a team to help us as well of other instructors. So yeah,
super duper. So it's grown and grown, and I think that's a nice thing that business, it's better sometimes for a business to kind of grow organically. It was the same with my business. I kind of didn't go out and buy 30 boards and put loads of money into it, because I didn't know what was going to happen. And the sport has grown massively. We just commented this before we start the podcast, but it really has grown massively in the last couple of years, and it's kind of it's in mainstream media and things like that. So I think our businesses have probably grown alongside that, providing that service, haven't they?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I remember people were still they were taking pictures of us on the quay when I first started. It was like this new, people were saying, why are you paddling that surfboard? And all of people didn't know what it was. And like you said, yeah, definitely in the last few years, it has really come into mainstream, and it was, well, great to be a part of that, really, and to help kind of guide the sport into this new era that it's in now. So I think it was great having that prior experience to it being so busy, that I knew what it was. Like, we had that experience of running a business prior to it suddenly becoming very, really, really popular, which I can only really see as a blessing, really. And it's been great.
It's, I mean, one thing that comes across is you're so passionate about it. You can really hear that in what you're saying. So tell me a bit about the location, because it is fantastic. So we've got the River Dart, haven't we? And then we've got I'm just throwing back to the South Coast. So obviously you've got places to offer some lovely tours and trips. Tell me a little bit about where you operate from and why it's so special.
So we operate from the centre of Dartmouth, out of Coronation Park, and there we basically have 2 options. So you can either go we like to run all of our sessions according to the tide. So we utilise that high tide session to go up into the creek, which is absolutely stunning. It's an an ancient oak forest, basically, that just falls down into the river, and there are some gorgeous little beaches there that we love to stop at, with old follies and all sorts to explore, old shipwrecks as well. And I mean, it's gorgeous. And then we're lucky enough as well to have a Dittersham, which is only a couple of kilometers upriver, which again we can paddle to. We often we drop people off there, and there's a great pub there, so they do go to the pub and get the ferry back. But we're really lucky with the River Dart. It's a clean, beautiful river with lots of different spots. We also have some really exciting little features, like an old reservoir, which is only accessed through a tunnel, an 18th century railway tunnel, which only paddleboarders and kayakers can get through. So that's all very exciting stuff. And then obviously from Dartmouth, it was an 8-mile run all the way up to Totnes. So you can access the river all the way up, and it's a beautiful river to explore. Then we have in our low tide paddle, we can head downriver, and that will take you through the town, which is brilliant. We just hug those banks. Really great way to explore kind of the little cobbled streets and the historic town of Dartmouth. Really, there's a lot going on there. Often there's lots of live music on the quay, so we've got the best seats in the house, really, watching it from the water. And then we've got all the old forts that you can go past, and then you finally get to the river mouth, which has the two castles either side, Dartmouth Castle, Kingsway Castle, and it's quite a magnificent view, really. We're then very lucky to have beaches either side just before you get out to the river mouth, which is where we often stop just to shake off your legs and give people the opportunity to get back on again. And really beautiful spots. And then feeling even more adventurous, you can go out the river mouth. We offer kind of those with experience, we can take out on adventure sups just out there. And again, there are some really lovely beaches just sprawled all over the bay, really. There are caves and gullies, and we're also really lucky to have an Atlantic grey seal colony, which is situated on the Mewstone, which is a small island literally just out of the river mouth. So we often see our lovely resident seals around, and we see them all popping, and we see, there's a lot more in the summer, but they're there in the winter too.
It's you've definitely got to experience that. I think that, I mean, one of the things I'd like to do if I'm back down that neck of the woods is get out some of those paddles, because they just sound exactly what paddleboarding was built for. And I think it's quite a big area of the sport now. We've had lots of people that will come and do beginner lessons and get their confidence now to use their equipment safely, and then some of those people are going off and doing a bit of racing and surfing. But I think that kind of adventure touring side does attract a lot of people. And do you find that sort of naturally people will maybe come and have a lesson and then want to go and do a tour with you sort of at a later date?
Yeah, definitely. So that's what we tend to do. So we tend to do a bit more of a beginner session to begin initially, just to get people happy and comfortable, see if that's the sport for them. And if they're happy maneuvering the board standing, then they'll often, we talk to them about our adventure tours, and they are really excited to book again, because I mean, it really is just great to have you're basically captain of your own boat, and you can go and explore these tiny coves that no one else can get to, which is the really exciting part of paddleboarding, really, in my mind.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So you mentioned, I was going to ask you about some of the wildlife that you see on the trips. Obviously, you mentioned about the seals. Is there anything else you can kind of, I mean, stuff like that I absolutely love, but is there anything else that you can kind of expect to see when you're out there on the water?
Well, I mean, we have tons of fish. So, you see a lot of fish underneath you, especially this time of year when the mackerel come in. They all come on their kind of schools underneath you. And obviously they bring in all the bird life as well. So we have we have a heron's roost up river into the creek, so you can see these amazing herons and egrets all roost together in the trees. We do every so often are lucky enough to see dolphins and porpoises. So we do get dolphins and porpoises come through. They tend to stay a little bit further offshore, but if you are lucky, they do. It depends when the fish come in, and they will come into the river, and they will kind of explore that river mouth area. And it didn't happen to me. I wasn't on the water, but we have had on 2 occasions humpback whales visiting. Wow. Literally, there's a picture of one breaching between the castles, which I'm not saying it's something that you're going to see, but they are. We are right there on the southwest coast, so we do get marine visitors passing by. So we're really fortunate with our wildlife. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So outside of the business, obviously that keeps you guys busy, a lot of, especially this time of year, a lot of work going on. So what would you like to do when you're not paddleboarding? Is it more paddleboarding, or is the different? I mean, a lot of people have told me that they're getting into winging and foiling and things like that. So is there any particular pastime that you're like, yeah, when I'm not teaching paddleboarding, this is what I like to do?
Yeah, I mean, both myself and Sam, we surf. So, for our relaxation, we love to go for a surf. You just forget it all and go down to Cornwall, or we're lucky we've got Bounce Beach here as well. So we nip off to relax. We go surfing for a few hours. But yeah, it's amazing. I mean, as well, we do actually, even though we're on the water paddleboarding all the time, we still go out and we paddleboard together. We do enjoy it still. And yeah, so we love to cycle, so we do a lot of cycling. We're again really lucky to have Dartmoor right on our doorstep, so great mountain biking up there. Great for you've also, well, the River Dart goes all the way up there, so wild swimming and all of that. It's it's all here, so we're quite outdoorsy. We love anything that's outdoorsy.
And I mean, one of the interesting things about our sport is that lost you there for a sec.
Lost me there, yeah.
The sky. So one of the things about this sport, obviously, in the growth rate is where do you kind of think it's going to go? I mean, do you think it's going to level out, or it's going to just keep getting busier and busier? We do seem to see more and more people popping out on boards as the years go by. What's your kind of thoughts on where the direction of the sport and where it's moving?
I mean, it's hard to say, but so many more people are getting involved, which means there's lots of different avenues it might go down. I mean, one of the great things about paddleboarding is it's versatile. I think we were talking just earlier about it going down a racing route to surfing route. So I think there's a lot more there's a lot more on the scene than just people just getting on your paddleboard and giving it a go. I'd like to see it become an Olympic sport. I think there's definitely something in that. And in terms of, I don't think it's going to fizzle out anytime soon. I think people are only just really, I think it's the sort of sport you do and you actually just fall in love with. And I think that people will just go from strength to strength, trying out different size boards, going from cruising to racing to surfing. If you're really into it, I think there's a lot more to kind of come with the sport. And I guess the reason why it's so popular is because it is completely inclusive. So everyone can do it. It doesn't matter how old you are, how fit you are, you can still get on a board and use it to whatever standard, any level you'd like, really. So I think for that reason, it's a sport that's here to stay. And yeah, hopefully to bigger and better things.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I agree with you. It'd be lovely to see it perhaps in the Olympics one day, whether it's I don't know, like the canoe sprinting or something like that. It's just quite a visual sport.
Yeah.
But it certainly does look like I mean, there's a lot of politics involved, but it does look like it might go down that direction.
Yeah.
I think for me, I had a bit of a time when I did some racing and things like that, but trying to get the training is hard, and that side of it's growing. I think still for me, the bit that I really enjoy is, like you're saying, is just probably the social side, and just as a bit of a relaxation, because the other thing, of course, people are using it for now is almost like a bit of a thing for their own mental health,
Definitely.
Getting outside, being outdoors. So do you find that you experiencing much of that people are using it as a means to de-stress at the end of the day, or perhaps deal with some of the things that are going on in life?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that it's not only can you kind of take yourself away and have a bit of your own time, but just getting outdoors is, incredible for anyone dealing with any mental health struggles. So it's got so many positives to help in for I mean, yeah, essentially therapy, isn't it? But I'm not a therapist, so but really it's about getting on board, and it's taking yourself away and just getting outdoors. And I think it has incredible effects all round. Yeah, even if you've just had a bad day, it will sort you out.
It does, yeah. I'll find that no matter how my day's gone, once I get down to the lake, within about 5-10 minutes, I'm relaxed and I
Yeah,
feel much better for doing it.
yeah,
So I would agree
definitely.
with that.
Yeah.
And what about the future for you guys at the Paddle Shack? Have you got grand plans? How do you see things going?
Well, I mean, yeah, we really hope to, Sam's becoming a technical coach, so we are really looking to kind of expand on our training and become, real sup trainers. And yeah, so we become kind of a place that people want to come to be trained. We are really lucky as well here. We talking of racing, we have the Head of the Dart race, which
Yeah.
runs from Totnes to Dartmouth. And it's one of the largest sup races in Europe at the moment. And yeah, so doing a lot of training on that side, race. So Sam's really into that race training element and going down that route. I mean, yeah, we do intend to kind of get bigger and better with a bigger team. And yeah, we want to get really onto that training side and help
Yeah.
make sure that people are doing it properly, so that it just helps them be more efficient. It makes sure they don't damage themselves, and just really, for the sport's sake, driving it in the right direction, really, to make sure that everyone is good standard at what they do, really.
Yeah, and it is again a developmental side. It sort of naturally comes out of what we're doing already. So
Yeah,
you're going to get people that are beginner paddlers that are going to start focusing their own technique, and something like being a technical coach will allow you to do that, won't it? Where Sam can really dial in and look at paddle stroke and look at how they can improve. And
yeah,
there's a whole,
definitely.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff I don't understand about all of it, but there's nutrition. You talk to some of these racers and they're really into kind of all of that side and cross training. You think, yeah,
Yeah.
there's a big area there that's not that has been explored, but it's not something I've got experience with.
Yeah,
Are you
yeah.
gonna are you gonna still keep up with the surf? Is it sup surfing or surfing or just both?
Well, no, both. I mean, yeah, we love it both. Oh, yeah, definitely. No, yeah, we'll never put that down. That's
Whatever the waves are
that's
doing.
what we do to relax. But
Yeah.
whether or not we probably won't incorporate it into the business, only because that's our downtime sport.
Yeah, I think you do. It's important sometimes, isn't it? Although we love what we do, to have,
Yeah,
and I'm a little bit similar. I do like just a surf on a surfboard, and kind of
yeah,
put the paddleboard to one side for today. I'm just going to use my surfboard and get out
yeah,
there, and it
definitely.
is important to kind of have that. So okay, cool. So I'm just checking whether, so we've talked about your future there. Is there any kind of, so in a perfect world, is there a dream place that you would love to paddle or surf? Big
Oh,
question.
big question. I mean, we've been really fortunate. So in the winter, Sam runs his outdoor first aid training business, but we also are lucky enough to be able to get a month or two to have kind of our downtime. So we're really lucky that we do get to travel. So when we do have places that we kind of go, really want to go there, we do try to, as much as we can, to make those dreams come true and get out. Um, I mean, what's my dream spot? To be honest, Norway. I would love to
Okay.
paddle through the fjords in Norway. So that is something I'd love to. Now, the only problem with that is I have to go in the summer, and I tend to be paddleboarding quite a lot with the
Yeah.
business. So but it will happen.
Yeah. You're gonna have to leave it to the team and just sneak off for a week, get a paddle in,
Exactly,
and it's
exactly.
it's training,
But
it's training. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, we've been really lucky. We took the boards. I mean, we've taken them to Portugal, Greece, we the Azores. That was pretty amazing, paddling on a volcano.
oh
um
wow.
so we've been fortunate to be able to take, I mean, that's what's great about the kind of inflatable red boards, and or any boards, but to be able to put them on your back and take them abroad is pretty cool.
Yeah, so what, I mean, you just mentioned the volcano there. What's probably your favorite sup adventure?
Well, I mean, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've
It
done.
wasn't going to erupt, was it? It
No,
wasn't going to
no,
erupt.
we were safe. We were safe. Don't think it erupted for a few millennia, but
Oh, that's all right then.
um, yeah, I mean sorry, I've just lost my train of thought. What did you decide?
What's been probably your best SUP adventure to
Oh,
date? Best location?
my best SUP adventure. Oh, I mean, I've had so many, to be honest, and I know this is going to sound really cliche, but some of my best paddles that I've had have been here, going out coastally. And when you have kind of seals underneath you, and when you know somewhere so well, and you really can find those hidden little beaches and that sort of thing, it makes it really special. When you go somewhere, it's amazing, you go and paddle it, but you don't know it well enough to really explore it. So I've paddled in incredible rivers, and in Wales and Scotland. I had one paddle in Wales where a buzzard came right down over my head. It was an early morning paddle, over in the Teivi where Leanne operates. So it's where my parents live. And so I was just going down there, and that was amazing as well. That was, just this huge buzzard like on my head. But I think my favorite paddles have been those that have incorporated some incredible wildlife experiences as well. So yeah, that's today, I think, some of my best. Weirdly, even though I've paddled a lot.
There's no place like home, as the line goes, Wizard of Oz. And I think I've not paddled as many places as you, but I still kind of come back to some of the places I like in Cornwall, because like you say, you know them, and it's just, you kind of know the best spots to go and the best times to go and things like that. And you can't beat them, really.
No, you can't. I mean, the only problem is tearing Sam away from going for a surf in Cornwall to taking him for a paddle. So that's where we
I remember when I was talking to you guys at the end of last year, and he was definitely like, what are the waves doing this weekend? He was certainly at the getting out there. And I think he did. I think you guys got quite a big session at
no, Sam did. Sam got out. Yeah, I was doing the Pilates.
And I was eating sausage rolls. So you both did better than me. All right, Lanny. Well, that is everything that I wanted to speak to you about today. Fantastic. So I really appreciate you taking the time on this really hot day. But it does look nice there. There's some lovely plants and things in the background. So it's nice and cool.
My lovely courtyard. It's a bit shady though, so it's nice.
That's what you need. I think that's what you need on a day like today. But thank you very much for taking the time to come and talk to us. This podcast will go out in the next couple of weeks, so I'll look forward to listening back to that. And enjoy the rest of your season, and I hope to get down and paddle in that fabulous location you've got soon.
Well, thanks so much. And it's been great fun. So look forward to seeing you soon. Cheers,
right, take care.
That's great. Bye.
Bye.